Hello again. Welcome back to Wolf Camp. We've got another really cool treat for you. We are here at the E.O. Wilson Biophilia Center in Freeport, Florida, and we're going to learn about what the opportunities are here and what this center is all about. So Laura Sells, one of our master naturalists, will give you an input as to what this place is all about. And then we'll go see some animals.
Hi, everybody. What the Biophilia Center is about is educating children and adults about the environment and about the native area. This area is a biodiversity hotspot, and it is underappreciated as far as that goes. We all know it is a tourist destination, but if you look at it in a different way, it is a fantastic nature opportunity. There's a lot to see here. The Biophilia Center has been established since 2009. And so we've been here almost 12 years. We have day camps for children. We have overnight camps for children. And in the summertime, we're open to the public June and July. Not this year, I'm sorry. June and July on Thursdays and Fridays.
Hello, 4-H campers. My name is Bluegill Jill over here at the Biophilia Center, and this is Flower the skunk. I'm the mammal keeper, and so I take care of skunks and a few other animals we're going to see today. This skunk is a native skunk to Florida. It is a striped skunk. They have stripes on their back, including straight down the back as well as on the sides. And this is more of a recluse to Florida. You're not going to see them very often. Now, her name is Flower, and she's an omnivore, so she eats plants and meat. She's a very cool animal. Most of the time, people know skunks for their stinky smell, and that is actually a defense mechanism from their rear end to take off all those predators like coyotes and bobcats and anything that wants to eat them. However, great horned owls have no sense of smell, so these guys are prime meals for great horned owls. Now, Flower here, her favorite food is cauliflower and zucchini and all sorts of other vegetables we like to feed them. But in the wild, they're not going to get those things. So they're going to be eating native plants out in the wild that they can dig up from the ground under logs, including grubs as well for the protein, and then other wild edibles that they can find, including your native grown berries and other grasses and plants. Now, these guys have some long claws, and that's because they are diggers. They'll dig their own burrow, and they'll also dig into gopher tortoise burrows. Very useful for our prescribed burns that happen in our areas, as well as hiding from predators and bad storms. Hi. Y'all downed that food pretty quick. Yes, you did. All right, let's go see. All right, so here we have our resident bobcat ambassador animals, Zeta and Cheyenne. Now, these two bobcats are actually different subspecies. So we have Lynxus rufus floridanus, so that's a Florida bobcat, and then we have a northern bobcat, or Lynxus rufus rufus. Now, these two ladies were actually bred in captivity. We did not go out into the wild and capture them up and put them in here just to show them off to you. We actually adopted them from a wildlife refuge and used them as an ambassador animal to educate our 4th and 7th graders. So I'm going to show off a little bit of the tricks I've trained them to do and teach you a little bit about them at the same time. Now, bobcats are carnivores, so they eat meat, and in the wild they're going to eat things like rabbits and squirrels and birds and small critters that are in and under the underbrush. But these ladies eat predominantly chicken and beef and whole prey here at the Biophilia Center. In the wild, these ladies are going to blend in wonderfully with their surroundings. And also, they adapt by how big their paws are to what they're walking on. So walking in sand here in Florida, you can see Zeta's paw is smaller and very rounded, easy to walk on sand and in the marshes and all the habitats across Florida. Whereas Cheyenne, if you look at her coat coloring, you may notice she's a lot whiter and more gray. And that's because she is a northern bobcat, so she walks around in the snowy, rocky, mountainous regions of the United States. So if you're going to walk on snow, you need some bigger paws. So Cheyenne, will you show me your paws? Oh, good girl. All right. Now these cats, when they are hunting, they actually like to stalk their prey and then also pounce on them. So Zeta here likes to show that off. These cats are really stealthy in the wild. They will sneak up on their prey, crouch down very well, and then get good eyes on it and pounce when the prey least expects it. So she can jump about 6 feet high and leap 10 feet out. So a really good predator for Florida. Come here, boys. Come into the shot. Come into the screen. It's okay. All right, here we go. So these are red foxes, and we have 2 of them. They were captive bred animals that came from fur farms and the exotic pet industry. Now, foxes don't make good pets, but here in Florida they are wild and you can see them occasionally. They are nocturnal and they are omnivores. So normally they would be eating meat like rabbits and squirrels in the wild. Here at the Biophilia Center we feed them beef, chicken, whole prey, as well as some dog food treats to get them to interact a little bit more with our audiences. So these 2 here, they were rescued because of the fur and also because of the pet industry. Now, these guys, though, in the wild, they're very good at taking care of small rodent populations.
Assistant Director of the Raptor Program here at the Biophilia Center. Behind me are our 2 bald eagles, Agena and Alaha. They are 28 and 29 years old. So there are reports of eagles getting up to about 40 years old in the wild, and they frequently get to be that old in captivity as well. They are the largest raptor species that we have here in Florida. Florida actually has the 2nd highest population of bald eagles, next to Alaska, which is in first. They have incredibly large talons that they use to fish. Because fish are their main source of food in the wild. They weigh on average 9 to 10 pounds and have about a 7-foot wingspan. Oh yeah?
Say, I heard the word call it out.
Hi guys, I'm Armadillo Ashland, Director of the Birds of Prey here at the E.O. Wilson Biophilia Center. And today I have Aspen. He is a barred owl, which is probably the most common owl found in this area. Now, as an owl, he has a couple adaptations to help him with his nocturnal lifestyle. First thing is going to be his feathers. Now, they have more feathers in general, going all the way down onto their feet and toes. And these feathers are actually specially designed for silent flight. So they're actually much softer on the end, and when they flap, it actually breaks up the wind noise, making it much easier for them to sneak up on their prey in those low light situations. Now, these guys in particular can often be found during the day. They're actually what's known as crepuscular, meaning you will sometimes see them during the day, and that's totally acceptable. A lot of times they are found in wetland areas, wading into the water, catching things like crawfish and catfish. But they will also eat our small rodents like mice and rats, and to help with that, they also are going to have these very large eyes. Now, I have a skull here. Underneath all of this fluff, you're going to get something about like that. As you can see, it's not very big, and half of that tiny skull is actually going to be made up of eyeball. So they have giant eyes made for seeing in those low light situations. Now, these eyes are also very heavy, and they're held in place by muscles, meaning they can't actually move their eyes the way we can. Instead, they have to turn their heads. Now, we've all probably heard owls can turn their head in a full circle. That's not entirely true, but they can actually turn about 270 degrees, meaning they can look behind their back. So that extra flexibility is due to having twice as many bones in their neck as humans do. We've got 7, they've got 14. Now, also, they have an incredible sense of hearing. Now you're probably thinking, there are no ears. Where are they? They're essentially just holes in the side of their head. But what happens is this nice flat face actually leads sound to their ears, which are often going to be offset on their head. Maybe one up high, one low. Sound is going to filter off of those face feathers, and they can pinpoint exactly where those sounds are coming from. So here we have Medusa, our red-tailed hawk, getting that name from that beautiful red tail that they get when they are adults. And Medusa is going to be the largest hawk species here in the United States, especially here in Florida. Medusa is also going to be a little larger than some of the red tails you'll see in this area because as a female, she is a little bit larger than those males. Now these guys are going to be hunting during the day, so you can see no feathers on the feet like you saw with our owls. And their main source of food is going to be rodents, such as mice, rats, but they really love squirrels. And they're also a big fan of eating snakes. Now Medusa's injury occurred when she was very young. You may notice she is actually missing her eye there. That occurred in the nest. It is very competitive for these birds in the nest. 90% of them actually don't make it through their first year, through their first winter in particular. All that competition does lead to fighting in the nest, which occasionally leads to birds getting kicked out, as in her case. So she has actually been in captivity for her entire life. She's going to be 10 this year, and so she is also what is known as an imprint, meaning she could not survive in the wild due to her need for humans. Now, the reason we have these birds is because they are all injured. These can only be used when they are deemed non-releasable, and they can be used for education purposes.